Hello, the sole purpose of this video is to make sure that you know how to multiply matrices together. I have some general examples over here with letters, but we're going to start with an example here with numbers, and I'm just going to show you how to compute it. So we have two matrices here that we're multiplying together, and they are both they're both 2 by 2 matrices. Now, what this means is that there are 2 rows and 2 columns. So the first number here is the number of rows, the second is the number of columns. And you can see that with the matrices here. It has 1, 2 rows and 1, 2 columns. It's 2 by 2. This one similarly, 1, 2 rows, 1, 2 columns. It's 2 by 2. Now I'll just tell you this time, I won't tell you why, but I'll tell you the product does exist. And it's also 2 by 2. And so I'm just going to show you the mechanics of how to find that product. So that product is over here. Now in order to find that product, that means I have to specify 4 entries, because I have to tell you the first row and the second row, or equivalently, the first column and the second column. So what I'm going to be telling you is just the mechanics of how to find the top left entry, the top right entry, the bottom left entry, the bottom right entry. So this is how you do it. I'm going to draw a line across here. Now, this time I'm going to write out a bunch of stuff that you won't write out when you're doing it later. You'll mostly do it in your head. But here I'm going to write it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this expression we have here because I want to scribble over it to show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going to copy this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to compute this top left entry here. Now the way you'll do that is you'll take the top row of the first matrix, the left column of the second matrix. See, this is top row, left column, top left, because this is the top left entry. That's the logic of it. I'll take the first entry of this top row, the first entry of this left column, and multiply them together, 3 times minus 4. I'll take the second entry of this top row, the second entry of this left column, multiply those together, that's 2 times 3, and then I'll add them together. 3 times minus 4 is going to be minus 12, and then 6. I add these together and I get a minus 6, and that's my first entry here. Now I'm not telling you why, I'm just telling you this is in fact what you do. And now we want to move on to the top right entry here. And to do that I'm going to clear all this off. And I'm going to do the same thing again, except it's a different entry. I'm going to recopy this, and this will begin to seem repetitive, but it's worth doing it the first time just so you see in detail all the machinery. I'm looking here at the top right. This is this top right entry here. So I'm going to take the top row of this matrix, the first one, the right column of the second matrix. You notice the logic here. Top row, right column, top right, because this is the top right entry there. I'm going to take the first entry of the top row here, the first entry of the right column, and multiply those together, 3 times 8. The second entry of the top row, the second entry of the right column, multiply those two together, 2 times 2. Add those together. This multiplies to give me 24. This multiplies to give me 4. Add those together, I get a 28. That is my top right entry here. 28. Okay, now moving right along, we're going to compute the bottom left entry. And by now, you probably know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do all the gory details anyway. So we have recopy this again. I want bottom left entry, so I'm going to take the bottom row here, the left column here. The logic is the same as before, except now it's bottom row, left column, bottom left, because I'm looking at the bottom left entry in the product. I'll take the first entry of this bottom row, the first entry of this left column, multiply them together, 1 times minus 4. The second entry of this bottom row, the second entry of this left column, multiply those together, 7 times 3. And the results, this gives me a minus 4. That gives me a 21. Add those two together, I get a 17. That's my bottom left entry. I have one more, and by now the drill is familiar, should be fairly familiar to you. I'm going to recopy this one more time. 3, 2, 1, 7, minus 4, 8, 3, 2. I'm looking finally now at the bottom right entry here. So I will take the bottom row here, the right column here, same logic as before, bottom row, right column, bottom right, because I'm looking at the bottom right entry there. Take the first entry of this bottom row, the first entry of this right column, multiply them together. That's a little messy. Fix that. Second entry of the bottom row, second entry of the right column, multiply those together. Add the results. Those multiply to give me 8. Those multiply to give me 14. Those add together to give me 22. And that's my final entry there. And now that is the product matrix. So I can clear all this off. And this is the answer. Now in real life, you would do this much faster. You'd do most of it in your head. You'd say, okay, 3 times minus 4 is minus 12, plus 6 is minus 6. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2 times 2 is 4. 24 plus 4 is 28. 1 times minus 4 is minus 4, plus 7 times 3 is 21. That's 17. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 14 is 22. Let's do another one that will do it that way. So let's just make up another matrix. Say minus 2, 8, 10, 5, and then let's put 1, 14, 0, minus 3 here, for example. Now this one, I'm not going to write out all the details. We're just going to do it largely in our head. So we're going to say the minus 2 times, well, first of all, we want to find the top left entry. So we're going to take top row, left column. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. 8 times 0 is 0. So that's going to give us a minus 2 up there when we add them together. Here we have a minus 2 times 14. That's a minus 28. And 8 times minus 3, that's a minus 24. I think that gives us a minus 52, right? And then we have the bottom entries, 10 times 1 and 5 times 0. So that's going to give us just 10. And then here, 10 times 14 is 140. 5 times minus 3. That's minus 15, so that should give us 125. So it's not that bad. It's not as much work as it seemed to be in the first video. You are doing that work, but it's just doing arithmetic, and mostly you're going to be able to do that arithmetic in your head. Now I'm going to break this into another, I'm going to stop this video and we're going to go and then talk in another little video about when the products exist and if so, what size those products are.